Question 11. Match the graph to the correct relationship. So this question is just asking us to recognize these forms of graph. Also making sure we know that this means proportional to. If it's simply proportional to, directly proportional to, that means it goes up by a like amount. So let's say, you know, for a real world example, it would be something like if something costs 10p and you buy one, that's 10p. If you buy two, it's 20p. If you buy 10, it's 100p. It's 10. It's going up by 10 for each. The cost is going up by 10p for each additional item purchased. So that's a straight line linear situation. These ones we need to just be careful about, and I mean, you may just recall what's what, but let's sort of think about the situation and see if we can work it out. I'm going to look at this one first. If I imagine 1 is here, so this is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. I imagine that 1 is there. Okay. Yeah, with this one and this one, they would be the same, wouldn't they? Because y is the square root of 1, so the square root of 1, you know, this would be kind of a similar sort of position. But if I imagine a larger amount of x, I'd be dividing by more. So imagine when x goes to 2. It's not going to be going higher as it is in this one. It's going to be becoming lower because this would now be a half, wouldn't it? And so on. When this became 3, we would now, this here would be 1/3, and so on. So, and also if it was on this side, so for example, if this here was 0.5, well, 1 divided by a half is the same as 1 times 2, so that would be 2. So I can definitely see, and hopefully I've explained why, that matches to this one. And this one matches to this, y is proportional to the square root of x. The bigger your number gets, the greater the square root will be, but not by so much as the number itself increases. So, for example, you know, if you go from 1 squared, so the square root of 1, to the square root of 2, you've not gone up by a whole integer, have you? Because the square root of 2 is not as big as 2, and then that becomes increasingly the case with the larger the number that you're square rooting. So it tapers off to a degree. It never gets to being flat, but it starts to taper.